Good evening. Welcome to City Council meeting of Wednesday, October 16, 2019. Can I have the roll call, please?
Peg Coniff.
Here.
Salem Derby.
Present.
Omar Gomez.
Here.
JP Kaczynski.
Here.
Bill Lynch. Joe McCoy.
Here.
Tom Peak.
Here.
Dan Rist.
Here.
Owen Zaret.
Here.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. And the flag
Hey,
has
they
been
moved the
moved.
flag to the right place. I did that.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The only one who says that.
No, you're not.
Can I please have a motion for the approval?
So moved.
What? Second.
He seconded, but I also want to make an amendment to it.
To the
minutes.
Minutes. Okay, a
If I
motion
may.
is second. Did you need, is that?
Probably want to withdraw both of them.
Yeah, just to draw it and then I'll.
Okay, so
And it
I'll
was so
withdraw.
fast, I
Withdraw the
barely
motion.
had a second.
Go ahead.
Okay, so what correction do you want to make?
So while I recognize that I was not eloquent last time, I actually did say something before, and I noticed that all other counselors
I didn't know
were
what
quoted.
to put for you.
It's hard to
because
know,
you-
I understand. But I
You didn't
think,
say much.
Rayma, but I think the important, if you could
Sure.
just represent the fact that I implored my fellow counselors to support it,
Okay.
and that I was in full support of it as well.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
I tried, but
It's
it was
hard.
a
It was
difficult
hard.
one.
There was a lot of words that made no sense. But thank
So
you.
did it need to be a motion, or do you just correct as suggested?
Correct as suggested.
Okay, so.
Move to approve as
Correct.
suggested.
Second.
Okay, well, saying all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion passes. Public speak time. Is there anyone here from the public who'd like to address the council from anything other than on public hearings? Come on up. Oh, we got someone else too, Ray.
I have another meeting to get to, so that's why I have
Take
to,
priority.
get after it here. John Mason, Parks and Recreation Director. I just want to bring everybody's attention to the Rag Shag Parade, Tuesday, October 29th. The annual tradition, we're at 30-something years, almost 40 years of that tradition here in town. So it's the 29th, Tuesday, stepping off at 6:30 from Maple Street School, ending at Easthampton Savings Bank. We are bagging candy that day at 11 a.m. at the Public Safety Complex. There's not many volunteers in the room today, but if anybody's interested to come help bag some candy, we give out over 1,000 pieces of, or bags of candy for this event. So, you know, it's going strong. Then I just wanted to follow up with we had the Harvest Fest last weekend. I wanted to thank everybody who came out. We had our biggest crowds. We had close to 3,000 folks there. It was an amazing event, beautiful weather. Everything was fantastic. So if you missed it this year, make sure you come back for next year's event. Saturday of Columbus Day weekend. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else from the public who'd like to address the council? This is your opportunity.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rayma Hutchinson, and I'm a member of the Public Library Association of Easthampton, just a corporator and past president. We're here tonight to talk about a couple of things, but I'm here to talk about our Party with a Purpose, and to invite all of you, everybody on TV, to come and support the library and TEC, the Therapeutic Equestrian Center, which is in Holyoke. The director of that is an Easthampton resident, and we find that it is better for us to partner with an organization so that we have enough resources and manpower to put on events that will raise money for both organizations. So it's going to be Saturday, November 16th. It's from 6 to 10. It's at Mill 180 Park in Easthampton. We're going to have a silent auction. We're going to have a live auction. We're going to have dancing. We're going to have
Really good band.
really good band. Some band. Really good. You should dance. And we'll have food. So, I mean, this is terrific. So if any of you want to donate something to the silent auction, please feel free, talk to either one of us or just drop it off at the library. We're looking to get a lot of items so we can raise a lot of money so we can support our wonderful library, which is in desperate need of funds.
Thank you.
My turn.
You're welcome. And I'd like to introduce Marge.
Marge Prendergast, President of the Board of the Corporators. So she's good cop, I'm pushy cop.
That was good, Bob?
That was good cop. Letting everybody know we're having a party. But Rayma had a chance to chat with a few of the counselors at the library just last week, and she brought up the fact that our funding for this year's budget was $3,000. It was increased our funding at least $3,000. However, that was at a 53% level, and last year we had a 56% level. So right now, we stand at $23,000 minus where we could be, where we should be. It's not a complaint. I realize that you guys are trying really hard to do the budget. We are trying really hard to fundraise. We are really getting out there. This board is really kicking it up to the best of our abilities, but we do need more support. And we realize the counselors are going to say, you know, we can't really add to it. Tell us what we can do to help you so that you're a stronger advocate for us. We do not want to cut hours. We do not want to cut programs. We got amazing things going on. We got a director that's just phenomenal. And we want this woman to go and grow. If there's any way that you could think of how we can fill this deficit and then some, and I realize they're talking about the cannabis money, but that's not for a few months. But keep us in mind, we are working on a shoestring budget. We make you guys look good. We make us look good. Now we want to just fly. We're going to continue to fundraise. I'm not sitting back on my laurels. She won't let me. I just want you to know that as an education, we're all going to learn where the library is, where the library can go and grow. But I need your help, and you guys tell me what you need from me. Okay? So this was Pushy Cop, and I thank you for your support, and I look forward to dancing with you and spending money at the auction. November 16th, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else from the public who'd like to address the council for anything other than what's on the public hearings? Okay, not saying we can move on, we have time here. Communications from elected, I did have something that was added to the agenda, and I may ask the mayor for a little help on this as well. So back in 2004, there was an opportunity for city employees to buy time earned in the military to go towards their time accrued as a city employee. Back in 2004, the Retirement Contributory Board voted in favor of allowing Fire Chief Motter to buy some time back. And I think there was a miscommunication or an error, and that it was never approved by the city council. And so we now, in sort of a bookkeeping type of approach, need to approve this request for his buyback, which has already been approved by the Retirement Contributory Board. But Mayor, could you speak any more to that? Am I missing anything, or can you? And is this time sensitive? This came up too. Is it time sensitive at all? What is our?
Before he retires.
Yeah, so there's time sensitivity to it. Great job explaining it. This actually, Representative Carey has been helping Chief Motter as well as the city just get that approved on the legislative level, and we found out that the city council vote was missing. Chief Motter did everything appropriately, and as you said, it was just a bookkeeping error. As he's getting ready for retirement, and actually today we just opened the search, the job posting for fire chief. There is, I mean, he needs to know where he's standing for years of service overall, and is trying to get the ducks in a row. So this is time sensitive.
I may change my mind, and if Jane can come up and explain what
Yeah.
you did privately to us, maybe we could vote on this tonight because it was approved way back. Explain to the council how this helps Dave get some of his time back and increases his retirement, because he has to pay $9,500 or something like that.
Yeah.
If you could explain it, and then maybe if no one objects, I wouldn't mind voting on it tonight. It's up to councilors.
For the retirement, we contribute through our paychecks. There are other instances, such as military time or, as I explained it earlier to some of you, a lot of the Park and Rec summer employees pay into the OBRA plan. And then when they get a job with the city, they can buy back their time that they put in as part-time employees. But they have to contribute the money. So in Chief Motter's case, he is going to, the $9,500 is for him to contribute what he would have paid in for retirement for his time in the military. And what it'll do is, it'll increase his years of service. Retirement, the rate we receive for retirement is based on our age and our years of service. So he is buying the time to increase his years of service in addition to the full-time years that he has put in with Easthampton Fire Department.
Councilor Khan?
So in this form, it talks about that the board has approved payment options of lump sum or deductions over the course of 3 years. Did that take place? Did he do those? It says if you elect to have payroll deductions, yada, yada, yada. Did he ever do that? And has he been making $61.15?
He has not. That's why he will be contributing. As I understand it, that's where he will be doing it. Yes.
So you have to do the,
He has to make the payment, correct?
Is he going to, does he have to do a lump sum? Because he won't have 3 years to pay it.
Yes.
Correct.
Gotcha, okay.
Mr. President?
Sorry, because this first.
So I'm curious why, if he was approved for this, that he didn't make the payments at the time, either the lump sum or do the deduction process.
I was not there at the time when the offer went out to him. However, as I understand it, there was a discrepancy of I believe, claimed that he told a past retirement administrator, yes, he was doing it. It didn't get recorded. However the error happened, I don't know all the details on.
So it's seen as an error, oh, okay, but he never did it. I guess the question then becomes, typically in a case like this, wouldn't there be additional fees charged to recalculate the figure owed? Since it's been,
I believe.
this was the figure in '04 to buy back the time.
But he is currently in the appeal process, which the legislator is trying to change the rule of how long they have to sign up for this. So in Chief's appeal, it is now, I'm sure that the figures would have had to have been recalculated.
So you're saying that an act of the legislature is required for him to qualify for this time?
I believe that's why Senator Kerry is involved.
Representative Kerry is doing it. And then it would be, yeah, because typically you would, whenever you pay, if it's allowed, you would pay whatever calculated fee is due at the time you make the payment.
Correct.
Is that correct?
And I am sure that the administrator of Easthampton Retirement Board will be, if this is all approved, will be working with Chief to get, and PIRAC to get the figures.
I don't have any other issues with it, just that the figure be the appropriate figure and not necessarily the figure
Right. Keep in mind that all figures
'04.
will be approved by PIRAC as well.
Councilor Riss?
Well, as I understand it, we're not actually approving a figure, we're approving the process or the
Correct.
actual document to be approved.
Correct.
Does this help with other possible retirees and military service in the future, or do we have to do this for every single person? Do you know that? It's not important to my vote, but I'm just curious.
As I understand it, they're trying to pass the legislation now that will change it for
Everybody.
the future.
So, not just this, but a full legislation. Okay, great, that's good to hear.
I actually have one question since this has come up. Jane, I noticed on this documentation, there's a bunch of other people's names. Do you know, did they run into the same problem? Or Mark Nichols, Mark O'Brien, David Keefe, do you know? Or was it before your time?
That was before me, and some people opt that it's not, they don't feel that it's worth the investment. Others may have done it. It's an individual basis.
So the retirement board was just saying, these people are eligible, it was up to them whether they wanted to pursue it or not. Councilor Khan?
And again, I know you weren't here, but I just noticed that in the minutes of the meeting, it talks about Dave Motter, $6,938, but in the letter to him, it says $9,540. Any ideas? Okay. Yeah. And all of that will be recalculated. All we're saying is send it to the legislature?
That that the council has no issue with Chief buying that.
Proceeding. And then the retirement board will set the final amount.
They will set the amount working with PIRAC.
Okay, so we're not, okay. Gotcha, thank you.
Additional questions for the mayor, Councilor Rist?
If no one objects, I'd like to move that we accept this request.
Do we need to make a
Chief
motion
Motter.
to suspend the rules?
actual,
No.
that was on your letter.
Okay.
So what is it, right here?
Motion then notwithstanding.
I move that notwithstanding any general or special laws to the contrary, the Easthampton Contributing Retirement Board shall permit Dave Motter, a member of the Easthampton Contributing Retirement System, to purchase credible service for his military service, time pursuant to paragraph H of subdivision 1 of section 4 of chapter 32 of the general laws.
Second.
A motion, a second to approve the previously read motion. Councilor Rist?
Just to answer your question, it's not a rule, it's charter. We can pass anything in one session as long as no single counselor objects.
We have to have a
A vote to
full
approve it?
council.
No.
In order to
If you
do that?
object, we don't vote on it.
Right.
So I make the motion unless
Okay.
somebody
No
objects.
one who is here objected. Okay, so there's a motion, a second, and last minute comments or comments on this? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion passes.
Mr. President, I move the public hearings be open.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion passes. Councilor Derby?
Thank you, Mr. President. So this is going to be, the wage theft ordinance is not ready yet, so it is going to have to go to the second meeting in November. So I'm going to make a motion to continue this until I believe it's November 20th at 6:15 in these chambers.
Okay, is there a second for that?
Second.
We have a motion, a second to continue the public hearing to November 20th for the wage theft ordinance. Additional questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion passes.
Move the public hearings be closed.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion passes. Then we're down to mayor communications.
Okay. So I say this as I look at Barbara. Reminder that anybody has until, 8 p.m. tonight to register to vote. And the office is open now, and I would encourage folks to do that. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. in these chambers, I will be swearing in Officer Andrew Beauvais, who is going to detective, along with Gino, who has also received promotion.
Gino the dog.
Yeah, Gino,
So
yeah.
people know who Gino is.
Yeah, Gino is our canine, yep. And also swearing in two officers, Matthew Rude and Lyle Sinkowitz. So I would invite members of the council and public to attend, and it'll be right here at 3 p.m. I mentioned we opened the search for fire chief today. That period will be open for about a month, Jane, for a month rather than 2 weeks, given the position that it is. I would also, the planner is very ill and could not attend this meeting and speak directly to the items before you concerning his department, but he did want the council to know that on 10/23, which we think would be the next property subcommittee, that both Janet Tatro from the Affordable Housing Commission and Mark Tanner, our attorney, will be there to talk through the two proposals that we have.
What time is that meeting?
6:15.
Okay, I have a 5. So.
That's interesting.
You don't know about that?
No, I'll bring it up at property unless you think it's appropriate to discuss at this point.
Yeah, probably property.
Okay,
Is that it?
You're going to stay, right?
I am.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Otherwise, I would want to just be clear about it tonight, or now.
Okay, so I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah, I guess we can do it during property then, so we'll come back as long as you're going to be here.
Thank you.
Scouts out.
Mayor communications, Subcommittees, Finance, Councilor Rist.
Thank you, Mr. President. We did not meet last time because the assessors weren't ready, but they will be ready. Our next meeting will be the 23rd at 5 o'clock this month in Room 1. We will be discussing the request for the Board of Assessors to schedule a tax classification and the new business, which I will read now and send to committee. An interdepartmental transfer is being requested for the following appropriation: $12,000 to be transferred from personal permanent clerical, $12,000 to be transferred to building inspection service permanent clerical, $12,000. The amount requested will be used for the following purpose: to fund additional clerical costs to provide additional office coverage. I move that this be sent to the Finance Committee for review.
Second.
A motion second to move to finance. The department will transfer $12,000. Additional questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion passes.
I further move that on November 6th in these chambers, we set a public hearing for the tax classification and the $12,000 interdepartmental transfer. Both of you.
Okay, motion second to set public hearings for November 6th for the tax classification and the $12,000 departmental transfer. Additional questions or comments? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed, abstained, motion passes.
That concludes, Mr. President.
Okay, Public Safety, Councilor Gomez.
No report this time, Mr. President.
Okay, Appointments, Councilor Coniff.
Tonight, we met at 5 o'clock to review the appointment of Treasurer Jennifer Gallant. Present at our subcommittee meeting was Councilor Gomez, Councilor Derby, Councilor McCoy, Councilor Rist, and myself, and the mayor, and Jane. We had a big audience. And we talked to Jennifer at length about the position, her resume, her experience. We did approve her 3-0 on this. I'll ask any of the other counselors if you have any comments. I will tell you that I appreciate the forthright nature of your answers, and that you have a deep knowledge of the banking side of the house, and have spent a couple of years as the assistant city auditor, which we talked about as there's some. If you're going to audit a process, you have to know the process. So I did not consider that to be in any way disqualifying. I think that's actually a positive, because you have to kind of know things in order to audit them. Also talked a little bit about her management experience. She has had staff across a couple of your positions. So all of those things for me were very positive. Jane talked a little bit about the reorganization of the financial areas and the teaming approach, wherein before we had kind of a single-threaded knowledge base where all things kind of went through a single individual, and we're kind of moving toward a teaming approach where more than one person knows things and multiple people know different things. And so I like that, and I like that you bring a different kind of feel to this position, I think. So for me, I was an enthusiastic yes. So I don't know if anyone else has any comments.
I just wanted to compliment the mayor for her team management approach in all things. And in the financial sector, I think maybe Councilor Kwasinski was here, Councilor I don't know, you were here, Joe, when we did the finance director way back. We did that to consolidate authority in an effort to be efficient, and then we added the tax collector position to that. I believe now with the team management approach and Jane's experience in that way, she as a CFO and as a Jennifer, I'm sorry, I got Jane on my head. I feel that
Jane, now you're CFO.
I didn't know that.
all right, pick on the old guy. I just love the fact that we have a team management approach now. I think before we had authority, rightly so, in a very experienced financial manager, but I believe now that we'll get informed and educated opinion that will give a teamwork opinion rather than an individual, and that the members of this team will not be intimidated by the authority of a single person, which can happen and has nothing to do with the person who was here before. It has to do with the actual structure of the way we did finance. With a team approach, everybody's opinion will be valued, and I welcome that. And I like the fact that we're going that way, and I welcome you. We'll see a lot of each other, so thank you.
Additional comments or questions? I guess I would like to, I'll just add a little bit as well. I mean, quite honestly, some of my questions were geared about, when you read a job description of the treasurer, I think the candidate fell a little short on true, actual doing it. She had overseen it, but again, I think the comments by both the mayor and the personnel director about looking at this more as a team approach, where we have a financial planner from one of our financial organizations and a collector who came up through in-house, that the deficiencies that may be existing right now is something that as a team would be able to make a cohesive and productive and successful financial organization for the city. So I also too felt her expertise in certain areas will exceed others. So I think it would be a good mesh as a team approach. Although there, as I said, as a treasurer, there are some deficiencies, but I think they can be compensated by the team approach. So, any other comments?
All right, I will make a motion to approve Jennifer Gallant as treasurer with a term expiration 12/31/2021.
Second.
A motion second to approve Jennifer Gallant as treasurer. Additional questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstain, motion passes.
Welcome to the team.
We have no appointments for the next meeting, so thus concludes my report. We have no meetings.
Ordinance, Councilor Derby.
Thank you, Mr. President. We did meet the 8th of October, and we discussed some of the items on our agenda, including the cannabis equity amendments, and so that, I think, is something that we're going to continue to work on. I do have a little bit of housekeeping. I'd like to, in the form of a motion, request a 90-day extension to the city ordinance change regarding open consumption of alcohol and cannabis.
Second.
Okay, we ask for a motion, a second for a 90-day extension on the open consumption of alcohol and cannabis. Additional questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstain, motion passes. One abstention.
Okay, and in the form of a motion, a request to extend the review of on and off street private residence parking limitations, 90 days, please.
Second.
A motion, second for a 90-day extension for the on-off street private residence parking limitations. Additional questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstain, motion passes.
And our next meeting will be the 29th, Tuesday the 29th at 5:15.
Okay, thank you.
That concludes.
Great. Property, Councilor Kaczynski.
As the mayor had mentioned earlier, we're happy to announce that there will be a meeting on October 23rd at 6:15 p.m. I don't know if the room has been scheduled yet, but
I'll be done.
Which room it will be? Probably downstairs in room 1.
I'll be done.
Yeah, after the finance meeting. There will be on that agenda already a full presentation of the proposals for the dog park, which I'm not quite sure, that may be well attended, and there may be some questions there. There will be other opportunities for folks to speak to the dog park issue and to review. There'll be public forum scheduled later in November. The easement, I understood, was quite important to address, the easement on Ferry Street that will come up. So we will add that to the agenda. I looked over briefly the option agreement. I'm not sure.
Both of them he's requested.
He's requested November 6th. So everybody read well on that option agreement, and we'll go over that also at that time. That concludes the meeting.
Do you want to move it?
Do you want to move those two topics to property?
I thought we already had.
No?
It's so important. Yes, let's move them both to property, please.
Second.
Okay, a motion, second to move to property, the mayor for the 1 Ferry Street Mass Works easement, as well as the 109 Everett Street for potential mixed housing development property. Additional questions or comments? All
Do
those
they require public hearings?
Okay, cool.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion passes. Does that conclude? Councilor Kowalski?
I see a hand raised.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. I just wanted to ask, since like a year and a half ago, we've had requests to inventory city-owned property. I don't recall if we've gotten any farther on that. Is that still active on your agenda?
That is still active on the agenda. The intent was to add that and discuss that. I announced at the
Next
last
week as
meeting,
well?
at our next meeting, because I think it would be time to remove that from the agenda, since we've had several inventories. But let's,
So that'll be on your next?
yeah, we'll discuss that at
Okay.
that time.
All right, thank you.
Rules and Government Relations, Councilor Peak.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Rules and Government Relations Subcommittee will not be able to enjoy the Rag Shag Parade because we're going to be meeting at 6 p.m. on Tuesday, the 29th. At that meeting, 6 p.m. We're going to be discussing the proposal to realign roles on the council committees. Should be an interesting conversation, and thus concludes.
Councilor Kuzak.
I just wondered if that would impinge on the amount of people who might attend that meeting.
Because ordinance is that night?
Because,
Probably just be a
We have a few
discussion.
things, yeah. Ordinance, that.
Yeah, I mean,
We could actually change it to the,
Councilor Roos.
do you want to change it to the 30th? I forgot that we had 2 weeks between our meetings. We could change it to the 30th. I don't have a finance meeting that night.
if no one else objects, I don't think I'm busy on the. Let me just check my calendar really quick. I don't think I'm doing anything on the 30th.
Unless it rains on
Yeah, sure. Just if that would if that
It's
works
fine with
better
me.
for.
The 30th is fine with me.
Okay, and 6 p.m. still?
6 and
Sure.
1.
Okay. Great. Well, then, congratulations, guys. You can go to the Rag Shag Parade.
Oh, we have to go to the other meetings that are that night.
Cool. Thus concludes.
That concludes. Okay, we went through charter review. There's
No
no
report.
We have no old business. We've gone through the new business, so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstained, motion passes.
Well, thanks for your contribution tonight. That speech you gave.
Wow.
the shortest meeting
I-
I have ever seen.
I want to make sure that gets on.